If you have been thinking about voting for any candidate that you've been told can't possibly win, hear me out. On November 8th, I plan to write in Bernard Sanders on the general election ballot for president. You might know him by the name Bernie Sanders, and you've probably been told he's not a candidate, he doesn't want the job, he isn't running. Well, lies, lies, lies. And I'm not saying the person who told it to you is lying. They may be just copying someone else's lies, but they're lies. Now, first off, I'm planning on voting for Bernard Sanders on November 8th, but I'm also hoping to vote for Bernard Sanders in the Electoral College in December. As for does Bernie want the job? Well, let's listen to what Bernie has to say.
Yeah. And if your real question is, would I have preferred not to have the time to be with you tonight, to be campaigning all over this country and running for president? The answer is yes. I wish I would.
So there you have it. He is a candidate. He does want the job. He didn't used to. I mean, for decades, I tried to get him to run. And he was always told, doesn't want the job, but he wants it now because he sees how much good he can do. And I see how much good he can do. And a lot of other people, maybe you, see how much good he can do. Now, if you've got some other candidate that you think is the best candidate, I'm not going to ask you to vote for my candidate. I'm going to ask you to vote for yours. I will ask you to look into my candidate. Maybe you'll decide that I'm right. And, well, I've probably already looked into your candidate, but if you think maybe not, you're welcome to try to get a hold of me and, ask me to look into yours as well. There are an awful lot of candidates out there. Very few of them that I've actually heard of, but then again, very few that most people have heard of. And those that have any reasonable chance, well, we got two of them that people are planning on voting for because they're terrified of the other of the two. And most of those people don't even want the one that they're planning on voting for. So if you're one of those people, I'd strongly suggest to you reconsider, because you may be stopping a good candidate from winning by voting for a bad candidate to keep out a worse candidate that can't win without other votes like yours intended to be going to the lesser of evil from somebody else's perspective. So vote for whoever you think is best. Don't let anybody tell you that your candidate can't win. Unlikely to win? Sure. But isn't that what voting is for, is to make your candidate more likely to win? You don't vote to make your candidate win. There are other people voting too. Your candidate isn't going to win just because you voted. Your candidate's going to have better odds because you voted for the right candidate, for the candidate you felt was the best choice. And if instead you decide to vote for a candidate you thought was the second worst choice and first or second most likely to win, well, then you just helped to make that the case. It was a lie until too many people believed it and made it happen. And that happens in a lot of elections. Let's not do it this time. One more thing I'd like to add. Since Bernie Sanders seems to be busy protecting the platform that he worked so hard to get under the Democratic Party, why don't we do some campaigning for him? This is me campaigning for Bernie. Yes, I am actually a candidate. You won't find my name on the ballot. Don't write my name in. Write in Bernard Sanders or Bernie Sanders if you prefer. Either name should take. And that will help to elect me and other people like me to go to the Electoral College to vote for him. That is if you live in California. If you live in some other state, it's going to be other people also whose names are probably not going to be anywhere to found on the ballot, and who you shouldn't write in directly. Just, write in your write-in candidate if you happen to have a write-in candidate. And if you're voting for someone else, well, of course, then you don't write in at all. I mean, if you're voting for someone who's not a write-in candidate. But again, I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. Bernie said it straight out. If he or anyone else tries to tell you how to vote, you shouldn't listen. And that's not what I'm doing. I'm just suggesting that you strongly consider your options and recognize that you've probably been lied to. If you've been told that only 2 candidates have any chance of winning, you've definitely been lied to.